I've delayed long enough. And I know he's like in some car somewhere in San Francisco because, he's not here in the studio with us.
They do this to me all the time. I don't know what the hell they do it for.
Sorry, Michael, to make you wait. He is a brilliant mind in the world of film and music and the cultural arts. How about it for the wonderful culture blaster who comes and goes on a rainbow? He's Michael Snyder, everybody. Hi, Michael Snyder.
Hey, Mark, and hello to everybody out there, including obviously Kim and Albert and the Remarkables. And I think we've set a record today. This is our latest start ever. I feel like Chandler Bing. Could you be any later, Mark?
Do you want to mention the Hockney passing before you get into movies?
Well, he lived a long life. He created beautiful paintings. He's identified with a certain school of slightly abstract, colored, dappled pastels. What can I say? I'm not an art critic, but I know what I like, and I always like Hockney's work. How about yourself?
Well, no, exactly. He was he expanded the art form. He expanded, and again, I'm not an art critic either, but Courtney is a big fan of the arts and supporter of the arts, and he did. Swimming pools, a lot of these swimming pool art that you see, very Los Angeles, Southern California, right? Isn't that right?
Right. Patios, backyards. I mean, it is SoCal in a nutshell, actually, on a canvas. His art will live on, as will his legend, the legend of David Hockney. Mark, I guess it's okay that we're starting a little on the late side because I'm kind of exhausted. I have been working out for the past couple weeks in preparation for my martial arts debut at the White House this weekend.
Oh, I didn't know you were part of the...
I'm sorry. It's my martial eats debut at the Waffle House. I got confused there for a minute.
I see. Yeah.
Well,
Michael, I am going to just cut right to it and ask you straight up. Did you see the Spielberg film Disclosure Day, which opens this weekend?
I did.
If
We're going to leave
please
with
review
that,
it.
actually.
All right, go for it.
Okie doke. There's been so much talk lately about extraterrestrial contact that's been covered up by the U.S. government for decades. Oh, we're going to drop a bunch of information. We're going to, open the files. Everybody's going to see what's going on. And, of course, we've seen nothing legitimate to this point. But I guess, it's a good time for Steven Spielberg to crank out what would be his third or actually his fourth feature film about or including alien visitation. We had E.T., Close Encounters, Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull has to do with an alien incursion, believe it or not, if you haven't seen it. And now we have Disclosure Day. And Disclosure Day is contemporary, and it's all about world conflict going on, and people are freaking out. And this guy named Daniel Kellner, played by Josh O'Connor, has all of this information, and in fact, kind of a piece of technology that is otherworldly, and he's on the run along with his girlfriend, who is played by one of my favorite young actresses, and of course, she's kind of a legacy kid, Eve Hewson, daughter of Bono Hewson, and, from U2. And, honestly, if you've seen her before, she's great. It doesn't matter about her parentage. She's a terrific actress. So the two of them are on the run. And meanwhile, in Kansas City, a television weather woman, a meteorologist on TV named Margaret Fairchild, played by Emily Blunt, starts having a moment on camera where she's spouting what seems unintelligible. And it turns out that O'Connor's character and Blunt's character have a connection to something off-world. And that's the mystery that starts unfolding. And there's, of course, a black ops unit. I don't know who they answer to, but they're trying to pursue both of these people who end up on the run as the question of extraterrestrial visitation is up in the air. Are we going to meet aliens? Were there aliens? Is this some kind of, bogus situation? I have to tell you, it was pretty entertaining. It's one of my favorite Spielberg films of the last, 10 or 15 of them, because he's been pretty prolific. But there are questions. There are glitches in the script by David Koepp, who was a longtime collaborator, and in fact, I think wrote the script to Crystal Skull. And the performances carry you through. They're all pretty solid, and it gets exciting. And there are chase sequences. I mean, Spielberg and action, I don't know that there's a director that does it particularly better than he does. And from that standpoint, I was like gripping the armrest at the IMAX theater where I saw Disclosure Day. I will recommend it. Again, it's not a great movie, but it is entertaining, and it's filled with kind of exciting, tense moments that push you forward to a denouement that maybe isn't what you really expect. And certainly there's something a little wonky about the end of the movie as well. But ultimately, I'd recommend it. It's in theaters all across our great nation. Oh, always nice to see Colin Firth, who's, he kind of made a career out of playing a good guy, playing kind of a bastard. And he is a villain that you hate. Also, by the way, Wyatt Russell is here as the boyfriend of the Emily Blunt character, and Coleman Domingo. I mean, the cast is I would say unimpeachable. I don't know how else to put it.
I won't ding unimpeachable, but I will ding denouement, which was very, very well said. I think you said denouement, but no, what are you saying? Yes.
Speaking of martial arts, The Furious is almost nothing but mind-melting, heart-stopping, teeth-rattling, hand-to-foot combat. It's a movie directed by Japanese action choreographer Kenji Tanigaki. It was shot in Bangkok, Thailand, and that invites comparisons to the insanely good police versus criminals thriller, The Raid. In fact, The Furious features Joe Taslim, who played Sergeant Jaka in The Raid, and Yaya Ruyan, who was like Mad Dog, one of these lunatic, loose cannon types in The Raid. They're in the cast, and they, along with various other members of the cast, participate in the most intense fight scenes in memory. And just when you think the five main combatants have exhausted every permutation and brutal attack, they pile on some more. So the motivating plot point is a heinous child trafficking ring for the wealthy and powerful, but the result is martial arts mayhem. The title of this could have been, I don't know, Muay Thai Epstein, but basically the main characters in this are Wang Wei, played by Zi Miao, and she's his daughter is kidnapped by these criminals, and he gets no help from the cops, so he's going to find her himself. And he's a mute, and he's like a whirlwind. It's like the Tasmanian devil watching this guy. And he teams up with a journalist played by Joe Taslim, who is freaked out because his wife was investigating this child trafficking ring and disappears. So the two of them have to go up against these bastards. And I have to tell you, I was entertained. I mean, it was almost too much. But if you like this sort of thing, wow. I highly recommend The Furious, which is in select theaters.
Wow. Sounds pretty intense. But intense in the way in which is it grappling? Is it Asian martial arts? What are we seeing when you say that they're
like
intense
Muay Thai,
fight scenes?
Asian martial arts. It's all manner of hand-to-hand combat. And
wow.
Like I said, there's feet involved as well.
And it's with subtitles, yes?
Yeah, there are subtitles. There are stabbings, and there are throats getting slit, Mark.
Okay.
I don't want to downplay that, but there's less gunplay than The Raid. The Raid is heavy on the gunplay. This is more about physical combat, and it's actually jaw-dropping. Like I said, wow, All
right.
Okay, let's stick with the genre stuff from overseas. Kraken is the next movie on the docket. And I have to say, the Scandinavians know how to make some pretty cool monster movies. It's not all, dark detective tales and, TV series in the land of the midnight sun. Troll Hunter and Ragnarok had like giant monsters. They come to mind. And they've also put out some banging disaster movies lately. The Wave, The Quake, The Burning Sea, and The Tunnel, for instance. And now Kraken has come along to combine both genres. So this movie begins in a fjord, as so many do, where a salmon, I guess you call a salmon farm, is dealing with lice, possibly messing up their salmon. So they have a device that is going to kind of deal with the infestation, and it's got sound waves. And apparently these sound waves are so powerful that they wake up something that's been sleeping for years deep in the fjords. And that, of course, is the Kraken. We follow a woman named Johanna who's working for the government and investigating, the health circumstances of these kind of salmon farms. And her ex is the guy who developed this machine that kind of kills off the lice. They're involved. There's an unscrupulous businessman who owns the salmon company who's negotiating with Japanese businessmen at the time, and he doesn't care about cutting corners. He doesn't mind that if you leave that kind of sonic device on, you're going to wake up a giant monster, apparently. And there's, his cute daughter, who, by the way, I have to say, this actress, she's like teeny weeny Sydney Sweeney. I thought it was Sydney Sweeney at first, but it was some kind of Scandinavian teenage version. This thing is directed by Paul Oy, and I've had a lot of fun watching it. It's a popcorn movie. It's
the
a
Kraken.
throwaway.
The Kraken originally is from Scandinavia, right? The creature.
Yeah,
is,
it's a Scandinavian myth, I guess.
Yeah. So there you go, back to the roots. That's called the Furious. I'm sorry, that's called called Kraken, of course.
That's called Kraken. Yeah. And don't be Kraken.
But it is a furious Kraken that's awakened. Am I right?
Yeah, the Kraken is not happy. As a matter of fact, it would have been interesting to see the martial arts masters of the Furious try to take on the Kraken.
Oh, that's maybe for the sequel. That's Kraken.
That's a movie.
Okay.
I'll be pitching that film, I think.
Okay, all right.
Okay,
What's next, Great Culture Blaster?
It is Pride Month. Happy Pride to everybody.
Yeah.
And that means, at least as the weeks approach, that we're going to get the latest edition of the Frameline LGBTQ Film Festival. It is the 50th year for Frameline. And I do this to preface the last couple films I want to talk about. But Frameline starts Wednesday, June 17th until the 27th. It'll be at the Castro, the Roxy, the Vogue, the New Parkway, and Bampa in the Bay Area, and a lot of really cool films. I will mention Lady Champagne because it's the latest masterwork from drag queen laureate Darcy Drollinger, who plays woman of adventure and mystery Champagne Horowitz Jones Dickerson White. It's
wow.
These Champagne movies are pretty damn funny. And it's a nice preface, again, to talking about the RuPaul-helmed film, Stop That Train, which opens today in a variety of different markets. And, yes, it's campy. Yes, it goes off the rails, if you will. And it actually is sort of a parody of disaster movies like Airport and The Towering Inferno, only it's a train, a runaway train, and it stars, of course, a couple mainstays of RuPaul's Drag Race, Ginger Minge and Jujubee, as best friends Tess and Dee Dee, who are stewardesses on this train. And, of course, they are obviously not great beauties, so they're in conflict with the three stewardesses who are kind of super glamorous, drag race participants. And you also get a lot of comic actors like Rachel Bloom and Chris Parnell, Missy Pyle, Natasha Leggero, the comedian, and cameos that include Sarah Michelle Gellar, Jerry O'Connell, drag race judge Michelle Visage, and of course, RuPaul plays the President of the United States. I mean, it's a fever dream in a way. And actually, I thought it was pretty funny for the most part. And it's silly, it's crazy. It's not going to be for everybody, I guess. But I laughed a couple times, and I thought it's so bodacious and it's so colorful and crazy that you just gotta kind of love it. So Stop That Train is out, and it's playing in a variety of theaters across the country. It's not even select theaters. I think it's got a broad release pattern. So one more note, it's actually directed by Adam Shankman, who directed Hairspray and is a pretty renowned man behind the lens. And that would be Stop That Train. I also want to mention a kind of an indie film that's sort of good-natured and sweet. It's called She's the He, and it's a high school comedy that basically it's sort of pro-trans. It's about two best friends who decide that the only way they're going to be able to get next to these women in their class, these girls in their class, is if they make themselves seem non-threatening and non-aggressive. So they proclaim that they're both trans, and this is their way of kind of maybe getting a date, getting over on some of the girls.
Okay.
So it's kind of cute, and of course, one of the two.
It's a wild idea, but it just might work.
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
One of the two realizes that she's in fact trans, and so that's part of a coming out story in the context of this.
Oh, wow.
It's very sweet. It's good natured, written and directed by Siobhan McCarthy, and it's select theaters. It's a limited run, and I thought it was sweet. I'm not going to yell to the high heavens that it's a piece of greatness, that it's a great work of art. But that's not where we're at this week on any of these films. I think they're all pretty solid, though.
Well, I am excited about them, even in their solidity. She's the He is what you just heard about, the pro-trans film, and to get with these girls, these guys say that they're trans, and it's kind of a wild plan, and then one of them actually comes out as trans. So there are a couple of different layers here. She's the He is in select theaters. Also, this 50th year for Frameline, the LGBTQ film festival that is noted by the Culture Blaster. Lady Champagne, the RuPaul film, is...
Nope.
Oh,
sorry.
No.
Lady Champagne is the latest film by Darcy Drollinger. The RuPaul film is Stop That Train.
I see. Sorry about that. Okay, so that we should see the Lady Champagne film at the LGBTQ Film Festival, or is that in wider release?
At Frameline 50. It's the 50th anniversary of the long-running
and that's
LGBTQ
in San Francisco, sir?
Yes.
Okay, so that's the only place you can see that. Yeah,
et cetera. Yeah, we
Lady Champagne. So, Stop That Train is the RuPaul film, and that you can see in whatever city you may reside in, probably, or at least check. It's campy. It's parodying Airport, but it's on a train. There's some great comic performances. Rachel Bloom, Chris Parnell, Sarah Michelle Gellar's in it. It's called Stop That Train, and Michael liked it.
I did. If you like Drag Race, and so many people do, check this out.
That's the RuPaul-directed film, Stop That Train. Kraken is from Scandinavia. It's a monster movie. Sound waves wake up a formerly sleeping Kraken, and Michael liked that too. Yeah, I mean, it's not pinning his meter, but he liked it and said it's worth checking out. Kraken is in limited release. The Furious, shot in Thailand. Michael compared it to the Thai movie The Raid, which I guess also starred a couple of actors who are starring in this one. There are intense fight sequences, he says. The plot is this story around a heinous child trafficking ring. Daughter is kidnapped, and trying to find the daughter. The father teams with this journalist, and apparently it's pretty intense.
Yeah, and, Mark, I would say that of all these films, I like this and maybe Stop That Train probably the best by a hair. But Disclosure Day is Spielberg, and he's masterful. I can tell you that.
Anyway, that movie's called The Furious, and he did start with Disclosure Day, the world in conflict. And this guy has technology, and he's on the run. The government's trying to get the technology, and Bono's daughter's on the run with him. And then there's a weather woman in Kansas City who starts with this unintelligible utterance, and based on that, they realize that she's connected to the girl who's running with the guy. Pretty entertaining. It's not a perfect script, Michael says. Performances do carry it. He liked Disclosure Day, and again, he thinks it may be one of the best Spielberg films of late, anyway. Isn't that what you said, Culture Blaster? Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. And in fact, Bono's daughter, Eve Hewson, you loved her in Bad Sisters if you watched it. She's really pretty terrific.
Culture Blaster, you've done so much today. You've lightened our load. You've shown a light on an area that doesn't get enough attention, and that is the world of distraction and entertainment. Take our mind off what ails us. And I am really very impressed with your offering today, and I thank you for your patience. And I reward that patience by mentioning that Michael can be read, not only enjoyed in this form, but read his words. He is a brilliant wordsmith and writer. Find him at The Voice of San Francisco. You can find it online. And that's thevoicesf.org.
This current column is an elaboration on the review we did of Power Ballad, the very entertaining John Carney film starring Paul Rudd and Nick Jonas about the music industry.
There you go. Michael Snyder, a great culture blaster. Thank you, my friend.
Okie doke. Hey, Mark, I'll see you at the June Swoon. How's that?
June Swoon tonight. I love it. You'll see him there. Until then, he comes and goes on a rainbow. Bye-bye, culture blaster.
See everybody, and go Giants.
Yeah, go Giants is right.